Hi students. So in last class we were discussing about adaptations and habitats. We were discussing about the adaptations of camels and fish and all. Then we saw that habitat means the place where animals and plants are living, and we saw that if they are living in water, that habitat is called aquatic habitat, and if they are living on land, we can call that habitat as terrestrial habitat. Now we can look at what are the things that are present in a habitat. We can see that there are living things and non-living things in a habitat. The living things in a habitat are called biotic components. So what are biotic components? Biotic components are the living things in a habitat. So biotic means living. Okay, so plants, all plants, animals and microorganisms are the living things that are present in a habitat. So example for biotic habitat, plants, animals and microorganisms. And the non-living things that is present in a habitat are called abiotic habitat. Abiotic components. Abiotic components. So the non-living things are called abiotic components. So can you give some example? Air is there, water is there, soil, sunlight, heat, rock. All these are examples for abiotic components. Now we know living things can live only if there is water, air, sunlight, heat, everything. So we can see that abiotic factors like air, water, light, heat, everything are important for the growth of plants. So abiotic factors are important for all living things, plants and animals. Okay, so living things are called biotic components and non-living things are called abiotic components. Now we can have a journey through different habitats like desert, grassland, mountains, oceans, etc. First, we can go to a desert. So we have already discussed the adaptations of a camel. We know that camel is known as the sheep of a desert. What about other animals and plants that are found in a desert? Do they have the same kind of adaptations, or what are their adaptations? Which are the animals that are found in a desert? We know there are desert animals like rats and snakes. We saw that camels have long legs which help to keep their bodies away from the heat of sand. But what about rats and snakes? They do not have long legs like a camel. So how they keep their bodies away from the heat of sand? To stay away from the intense heat during daytime, they stay in deep burrows in the sand. And these animals come out only during the night when it is cooler. So they don't have long legs. So to protect themselves from the heat of sand during daytime, they don't come out during daytime. During daytime, they remain in deep burrows where it is cold. Then they will come out of the burrows only during night when it is cooler. Okay. Now we can watch some typical plants that grow in a desert. We know availability of water is very less. So only few plants are growing in a desert. So they have some adaptations that help them to survive in a hot desert. So now we can discuss about the adaptations of a cactus plant that helped it to grow in a desert. We know that plants give out water through their leaves in the form of water vapor. And what is that process? That process is called as transpiration that we have studied. So plants are giving out some amount of water in the form of water vapor through their leaves. But we know in desert the availability of water is very less. So if so much water is going out as water vapor through their leaves, what happens? Plant won't get enough water. So in desert plants, they will lose very little water through transpiration. And we can see most of the desert plants, leaves are absent, or if it is present, leaves are very very small. And in most of the plants, the leaves are in the form of spines. So instead of leaves, we can see some spines on the surface of the stem. Okay, so what happens? Leaves are absent or very small, or instead of leaves are reduced as spines. So this helps in reducing the loss of water from the leaves through the transpiration. So one adaptation in cactus plant is the transpiration is not taking place, or they lose very little water through transpiration. So the water that is present in the parts of the plant, that is stored in the plant itself, it is not going out as water vapor in desert plants, because they won't get enough water from the soil. Okay, so that is one adaptation of cactus plant. And in cactus plant, leaves are reduced as spines. And you can see leaf-like structures, green leaf-like structures in this cactus plant. So this green leaf-like structures that we see in a cactus plant is its stem. And we have then how photosynthesis takes place. We study that photosynthesis, or the process of preparation of food, takes place in the leaves of the plant. But cactus or desert plants don't have leaves. Then how they prepare food? They are preparing food in their stem, because stem have chlorophyll, it is green in color. So the leaf-like structure that you see in a cactus plant is its stem, and photosynthesis is carried out by its stem. Okay, and the stem is also covered with a thick waxy layer. So the stem is covered with a waterproof waxy layer, so that water won't go outside. This waxy layer will help to retain the water in the tissues of the cactus plant itself. Okay, and we know how availability of water is very less. So roots are absorbing water from the soil. So most of the desert plants have roots that go very deep into the soil for absorbing water. If they have very small roots, what happens? They won't get water. Availability of water is very less. So they have very long roots that help them for absorbing the water from the soil. Okay. So in desert plants, transpiration is less. Leaves are absent or small or reduced as spines. Then loss of water through the process of transpiration is very less. Then photosynthesis is carried out by their stem. They have a waxy layer on their stem which helps to retain the water in the tissues. Then they have long roots that go very deep into the soil for absorbing water. Clear now? Now we can discuss about the adaptations of plants and animals that are living in mountain regions. So what about the climate of mountain regions? It is very cold and windy. In some areas, snowfall may take place in winter. So there are a large variety of plants and animals living in the mountain regions. And the trees growing in mountain regions, they have some adaptations that help them to grow in mountain regions. Have you seen the kind of trees growing in a mountain region? What about their shape? They are normally cone shaped and they have sloping branches. So their shape is cone shaped and their branches are normally sloping branches. So branches are sloping branches, not straight branches. Branches are sloping branches. So what is the advantage of this? If there are trees, if on mountains are like this, what happens? We know snowfall take place. When the snow falls, the snow will get deposited on the trees. But here they have sloping branches and cone shape. So the snow will not be deposited on the top. Snow will slide and fall down. If snow is deposited on the top, what happens? It becomes heavy on the top, and when wind blows, the tree may fall down. So they have a cone shape and sloping branches so that they can survive in the mountain regions. Then what about their leaves? They have leaves are needle-like leaves. So this needle shape helps the rainwater and snow to slide off easily. So the leaves are also, if the leaves are broad, what happens? Snow may get deposited on the top of the leaves. But the leaves are needle-like. So the snow or rainwater that will not be deposited at the top, they will slide off easily, and when wind blows, no problem, trees can survive there. Okay, so the needle shape helps the rainwater and snow to slide off easily. Clear? So what are the advantages of trees? Trees are cone shaped and have sloping branches, and the leaves are needle shaped also. Okay. Now we can discuss about the animals living in mountain regions, or we can look what are the adaptations of animals that are living in mountain regions. So it is very cold. So usually they have thick skin or fur to protect them from cold. So one adaptation is they have thick skin or fur to protect them from cold. For example, yaks. Yaks have long hair to keep them warm. Then snow leopard also lives in mountain regions, and snow leopard has thick fur on its body. And it has thick fur on its feet and toes also. So this will protect its feet from the cold when it walks on the snow. Okay, then there are mountain goats. You know, they can run up and down on the rocky slopes of the mountains. And for running up on the slopy rocks on the mountains, they have strong hooves also. So they have strong hooves for running on the top on the slopy mountains also. Okay, so usually the animals that are living on mountain regions have thick fur to protect their body from the cold. Next, we can discuss about the adaptations of animals that are living in grasslands. We know a lion lives in a forest or a grassland, and it is a strong animal that can hunt and kill animals like deer. Now, what are its adaptations? What is the color of a lion? Or what is the color of grassland? We know dry grassland have a light brown color. And what about the color of lion? Lion also have a light brown color. So what is the advantage? Its light brown color helps it to hide in dry grasslands when it hunts for prey. Prey means what? Smaller animals that are eaten by a lion or other big animals. So the smaller animals that who become the food of bigger animals are called prey. So this lion is hunting for its prey, and it can hide in the dry grassland, same color. So the smaller animals cannot identify lion because of the same color. Okay, so one adaptation of lion is its light brown color. Then what about its eyes? Where is it located? On the sides or in the front of its face. We can see the eyes of lion is located in the front of its face. Okay, so the eyes in the front of the face allow it to have a correct idea about the location of its prey. Okay, so second adaptation is its eyes on the front. Then now they have long claws, sharp claws in their front legs that can be withdrawn inside the toes. Whenever needed, it will come out. Not needed, they can withdraw into its toes also. So these sharp claws help them to catch their prey. Then what about their teeth? they have sharp pointed canines that help them to tear the flesh of their prey. Okay. Then what about their speed? They can run very fast. So their speed helps them to catch their prey also. Okay. So these are the adaptations of a lion. So its light brown color helps it to hide in the dry grassland when it hunts for its prey. Then its eyes on the front help it to have a correct idea about the location of its prey. Its claws, pointed claws help it to catch the prey. Sharp pointed teeth help it to tear the flesh of animals. And its high speed help it to catch the prey. Okay. Then we know a deer is another animal that lives in forests and grassland. So now we can look what are the adaptations of a deer that helps it to live in a grassland. So here also, what about the color of deer? It also have a light brown color. So its light brown color helps it to hide in dry grasslands to escape from its enemies. So same color. So it can hide in the dry grassland and it can escape from its enemies. Okay. Then second thing is it has strong teeth for chewing hard plant stems of the forest. It is a herbivorous animal. It is eating the hard plant stems. So it have what? Strong teeth for chewing the hard plant stems. Okay. Then third is a deer needs to know about the presence of lion or other bigger animals in order to run away and not to become its prey. So it has long ears to hear movements of enemies. So its long ears help it to hear the movement of its enemies. And by hearing it, it can escape from the enemies. Okay. Then what about its eyes? Its eyes are not located in the front. Its eyes are located on the sides of its head. So what is the advantage of it? The eyes on the side of its head allow it to look in all directions for danger. Okay. And what about its speed? The speed of deer helps them to run away from the enemies. Okay. So what are the adaptations of a deer that help it to live in a grassland? First its color, light brown color, helps it to hide in dry grassland to escape from its enemies. Then it has strong teeth for chewing the hard plant stems. Then it have long ears to hear the movements of its enemies. Then the eyes on its side help it to look for danger in all directions. Then it have a very good speed that helps it to run away from the enemies. Clear now? Okay. Bye.